Two guys in their early 50s with one dream: to achieve middle-aged sporting glory. This is the Missing Links Golf Show. We're back. Andy Walker to the Missing Links Golf Show. Welcome back once again. I hope that you are still pain-free, my friend.
I am, and had another 9 holes on the weekend, which was good. Actually, didn't need to take any Nurofen, so I was pretty happy with that. So I think it's going to be one of those things that it will be as required and how I feel on the day. But it's good that I've discovered a backup plan.
Good.
So yeah, pretty happy with that.
It is good. It has long been my understanding that pain relief should be taken as required. So it's good to see that your education on the use of Panadol and Nurofen continues.
I was thinking about it during the week, and of course I haven't really suffered arthritis before. I've had headaches and all the rest, and I've always associated Panadol and Nurofen with headaches.
No,
not with arthritic pain. I've associated Voltaren with arthritic and joint pain. So I've tried Voltaren. That was one of the things that I tried which had virtually no impact on the pain. But it wasn't until I saw the hand and wrist surgeon that I went, that could be interesting.
I think you will find Nurofen or ibuprofen being the active constituent in Nurofen being more useful because it is an anti-inflammatory, or more specific, an NSAID, or a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug.
Yep.
So there you go.
Yep.
There's a chemist.
So are you, in your expert medical opinion, are you thinking that might be better than paracetamol? Is that where you were going with that?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes. For your particular needs. And for all of the pilgrims out there listening, please understand that any advice that we provide is purely general in nature and may not suit your specific circumstances. So please seek professional medical advice before embarking on any drug use. Yep.
But if you've got arthritis, Nurofen apparently.
Smash a couple of Nurofen, you'll be right.
Get into it. Cool.
Excellent. Well, that's good news. So how was the golf anyway? To play okay?
Look, it was a bit up and down.
Well, that's good for golf, isn't
it? I did actually do a bit of chipping and pitching practice beforehand, and I had a couple of really good up and downs, which was good. I mean, it was a little bit scrappy, but it's only my second week back, so I'm not expecting miracles. What I really keen to target is the Duntryleague seniors, which we've submitted our entry form into, which will be pretty good. And a new development as well is that I've got a message from friend of the show, David McClelland, while I was out in the golf course on Saturday, and I'll be playing in the Central Coast 2-ball Ambrose Championships at Shelley Beach.
So much golf going on.
So Mick Patterson gonna go and have a look and have a game at your old stomping ground.
Yeah, Shelley is a nice course actually. I have played it about 2 years ago, I think it was. Played Shelley 2, maybe 3 years ago.
Been a few more years than that since I last played Shelley Beach.
I really liked it. I think it's a good layout, depending on if the wind blows really, as to whether or not it causes you too many problems. But there's some really nice holes.
Hoping for a morning tee time.
Yeah, there's some really nice holes there. Shelley's a good course. We should do that one year. As a matter of fact, so we are making this big announcement, Andy Walker, that we are playing in the Duntry Seniors. That's exciting. We've put our entries in. We have.
So two-day event, Thursday the 30th of April and Friday the 1st of May. So pretty pumped for the Duntryleague seniors.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. That will be a lot of fun. Course is in good nick. I'm about to tell you about a round I played there recently. So
bit of sly practice before the big event.
I think reconnaissance would be the word. But no, it is in good nick, and I think it'll be fantastic for that event. So that will be all sorts of fun. And I don't know, it may be premature to mention, but I think it's worthwhile the Pilgrims starting to think about this. No details yet, no dates, bit of an inkling of a location. But we were chatting over the weekend about the potential for a Missing Links Masters event open to the Pilgrims at some point later this year. So more to follow on that.
Thinking maybe late November-ish. That tends to work pretty well in previous years. So yeah, if any of the Pilgrims are keen to come and play in the Missing Links Masters, sort of keep sort of a couple of weekends free, maybe sort of late November-ish, and we'll sort of figure something out and make some announcements shortly.
Should give everyone enough time to organise a passport and some flights out to Australia, even though international travel's a little bit questionable at the moment, but that's a story for a different podcast.
Do you think we'll get any Pilgrims from Western Australia?
Oh, probably not, but maybe South Australia.
Maybe. Okay.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. That would be exciting. Pilgrims from anywhere, really, if you want to come and get involved. We will do a bit more planning on this and put a bit more information out, but it's definitely something. If you think that there's merit and you want to get involved, drop us a line and we will keep you in the loop. So, Andy Walker, let's continue to talk about golf, and more golf. I did play a competitive round recently.
I know you've had a competitive round and a couple of practice rounds as well. So keen to understand how you played, and you sent me a couple of videos prior to us jumping on with a little bit of sort of dangled the carrot a little bit as to a couple of epiphanies that you've had. So I'm keen to understand more about what you've learned about your swing over the last few days.
I have had an epiphany. It's not the first time I've had this epiphany, but it's definitely been reinforced. And I think what I've learned is it's a tendency that I need to keep a beady eye on. And I think it has been something that's been creeping into my game for a few months now. So we will talk about that in due course. But first things first, let's take you to, in fact, ironically enough, Duntryleague. As we mentioned, I played the comp there just last weekend, which was a lot of fun. I actually played with one of the Pilgrims. I played with Pete from Orange, who's a member at Duntry, so he gave me the invite to come along. Extremely nice guy. As it turned out, we were the last group out of the comp. On the tee sheet, there was us and another player that neither of us know, guy by the name of Dodge, which I reckon is a pretty cool name. Anyway, he lived up to his name.
Was his last name Viper?
No, it wasn't. I'm not going to give you his last name just for anonymity points. But he lived up to his name by dodging us and not turning up for his tee time. So it turned into a 2-ball, which was awesome. We had a great afternoon, lots of fun, really, really good company. However, the golf probably didn't live up to expectations at times, albeit there were some glimpses. Both Pete and myself put together a few good holes as we went around, but I'll take you through it. So we teed off on 10, Andy Walker. 10 at Duntry is, it's a decent par 4, a bit of a mild dogleg to the left. And it's one of those
curves rather than
it's not really a dog leg. Yeah, it's more of a just a slight
meander. Do you think it meanders around?
It ambles around to the left. Moseys around to the left, perhaps you might say.
I like it. Yep.
But it is one of those holes that you don't want to go left off the tee because if you do, you're going to find yourself horrendously blocked out. So I took
been there.
So there's that big tree on the right-hand corner, you might recall. So I kind of aimed at that, right, as my aiming point.
But you can run out of room there with that tree. I find you've always got to aim a little bit left of it, otherwise you end up going through the fairway.
It's interesting that you say that.
Excellent. Yep.
because I aimed at the tree, and I've got to be honest, I hit it pretty well with a nice, remembering, left-handed, a nice tight draw. So I just went right of that tree and through, and dead, just dead.
Yeah.
So
you stymied from behind the tree, or
completely stymied. So I pitched out sideways, like literally sideways. I had no other option.
Yeah.
It was one of those ones as well, mate, where you go, like I went through, so I went past the tree, and I actually finished on a cart path for the hole playing up the other way, which was path 3 that comes up the other way. So I could have taken relief, but it was one of those moments where you go, there is no relief that is of any advantage in this particular moment. So I just pitched out from the cart path because taking a drop was only going to make things worse. So that left me with about a 9 iron in, which I hit pretty well, but just had a nice little tight draw on it as well into the greenside bunker. Didn't get up and down, got up and down.
A tight draw is good, starting on the right line, but
a tight draw,
not necessarily starting right and drawing as you would as a left-hander.
Yeah, it's not good when you're aiming at the right side of the green, trying to peel a little fade back to the pin. So anyway, I didn't get up and down. I got out and 2-putted to start with a double, which was disappointing.
That hurts a bit.
But it was like a little bit, but it's first hole. It's no big deal. I also got a shot.
Get a shot in that hole.
I got a shot on the hole. Yeah. So I still
6-1.
I still got a point. So that was okay.
Yeah.
So then we went to 11. Now 11's tough par 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's that par 3 surrounded by bunkers, playing about, what was it playing? I think it was playing about 165 roughly.
So this is members Saturday comp, obviously.
Correct.
So sort of 3/4-ish tees. So you're not obviously playing off the back, which you would in the hard open.
Some were.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Some were. So, it was, I mean, I wouldn't say it was off the back all the time, but some holes definitely were. We were pretty close to the back on this one. So anyway, playing what was it? We were playing 169 on this hole. So it was like,
because that's pretty close. I remember I usually hit sort of 5 iron or sometimes 4 iron if it was into the wind. Into that hole. So
So I took 5 iron, flushed a 5 iron to the centre of the green. Nice easy 2-putt par. Back in business. So then we move on to 12, Andy Walker. 12 is that par 4 has a slight dog leg to the right. So again, you don't want to put your drive to the right, otherwise you'll get blocked out. But it's also got that horrendously back to front sloping green. Uphill for your second to the green.
So a nice tight draw would work on this hole.
Probably don't want too much of a draw, really, for me, because you run the risk of getting blocked out. I've been blocked out off the tee here before when I thought I've hit a really good one, but the corner's actually slightly further than you think it is. So anyway, I aimed the left side and hit it through the corner on the left side, and I was kind of in the trees, but had a bit of a gap, but then had a smaller tree about, say, 10 metres in front of me. So I had to get up fairly quickly, which meant that I had to take just a little bit more loft than I probably wanted to get it all the way back there. But I hit a really nice 7 iron just to the front edge, not quite on. It actually landed on. It landed on the front edge and then sucked back off because it's got that.
Yeah, it does
the big sort of false front in the slope. So I had to chip up the green.
I remember a couple of times actually hitting it well onto the green, like finding a pitch mark sort of halfway or a little bit further up the green, and it still jags back off the front edge. It's really tough slope, especially if you get any sort of backspin. You can come straight off the front.
So that's what happened. So pitched up the green. I'm happy to say I got it about halfway. So that was good.
But it's a tough little pitch because you especially, I mean, I don't know how fast were the greens, but the greens reasonable speed because the
greens were okay. They weren't like tournament fast, like we've had before. They were pretty, pretty standard sort of Saturday comp speed green. So they're probably running
but
at what?
It's a tough, even though you think it's a
10-ish.
fairly straight away pitch and run, it's still a long way to get it back to the flag.
I didn't want to go past.
Yeah.
Was the big thing.
And that's your big mistake.
And I didn't hit it hard enough. I didn't roll it out far enough. I didn't quite hit my landing spot. So a safe 2-putt bogey at that point, which was not too bad. I'd be happy to walk away with bogey on that hole 9 times out of 10. So we went to 13. 13 is quite a lengthy par 4 down the hill.
Tight.
Very tight, massive trees. And at Duntry, for those of you that haven't played Duntry, the trees there, like it's beautiful old gardens, like imagine English manor house style gardens in the Highlands of Orange. And there's these massive big pine trees that are there that come all the way down to the ground. So Christmas tree on steroids. And if you go in one of those, you're not coming out for days.
No. And on 13, they lined both sides of the fairway. Like, you just cannot miss that fairway. Otherwise, you're pitching out sideways or just down the fairway a bit and pitching on for 3.
Yeah. I mean, you can miss the fairway, and I did. It's not ideal, though. I'll agree.
Yeah.
Because guess what? I had to pitch out sideways.
Surprisingly.
So we did that and then I was still a 5-iron out, hit a decent 5-iron just to the front edge. Just short of the front edge. So kind of, again, I didn't get up and down. So it was another double, which was disappointing. So we move on to 14. Now 14 is that short par 4. It plays about 280 metres.
Yep.
But it bends around to the right-hand side and there's water behind the green. Some massive trees on the right that can't go over. So if you're going to go for the green, which I have previously attempted to do and very nearly made it, you've got to, I would have to hit a nice draw with the driver around the trees. Otherwise, you run the risk if you go left, you'll go right through and you might end up in quite a bit of trouble. And it's a very small green, heavily bunkered. So there is an argument to say play a mid-iron or a long iron to the fairway and then leave yourself a wedge in, which is probably the smart play. So that's what I did. And I put on, I reckon, the worst swing that I have put on a golf shot.
Yeah, right.
In, I don't know, many years. I think I hit the ground on the tee box about 15 centimetres behind the ball.
Yeah, right.
Essentially played a 4-iron bunker shot off the tee.
So why was it a mental error? Were you just not in the game, or was it just a bad swing, or
it was just a bad swing? It was literally just a bad swing. Like there was no reason that I could point towards. It was just one of those things. I probably was trying to hit the ball a bit too hard because I was playing an iron off the tee. It was just a horrible swing. It really was surprising.
And what was your reaction? Was it like a bit of frustration, or did you just laugh because it was so bad?
Yeah, you got to laugh. I'm like, wow, have a go at that. It went, ShotScope tells me it went 41 metres. Now I reckon, I reckon that's ambitious. I don't know that it went 41 metres. I reckon it maybe went.
And it didn't actually hit anything in that 41 metres.
No.
Apart from the ground, obviously.
Yeah. So it was in the rough in front of the tee box, basically, is where it ended up.
Yeah, wow.
Got past the red markers, so that was good. So then I went, okay, that's interesting. And it was a horrible lie as well, because you're just sort of in that scraggy rough where no ball is meant to go. So I hit a 5-iron up to where I was supposed to hit that 4-iron, and then a 56-degree onto the back fringe. And 2-putted, so that was another bogey, which was somewhat disappointing. But in some respects, it was a pretty good par from 40 metres in front of the tee box.
Excellent. So what, for 5 holes, you're 6 over, yeah? Did I add that up correctly?
I think you probably did. Sorry, I don't have the running tally in front of me, but what did I go?
So two doubles, a par. And
double, par, bogey. So, yeah, 6 over.
Yeah.
So 15, and after
What are you playing off?
Course handicap on the day, I was playing off 11.
Okay.
Stableford.
You've done more than half your handicap in the first
game.
5 holes.
Yeah, and so whilst that wasn't a great start, we moved to the 15th hole, which is where it all went horribly wrong.
Excellent. Excellent.
So all that there's a little bit of an interesting adventure here. So I'd missed a couple of fairways right off the tee. I'd missed one left. Now the 15th hole is a long par 4. And it has out of bounds all the way up the right hand side, and the right hand side, even if you don't go out of bounds where the trees are, is actually a bad place to be because the high side of the hole is on the left, so everything kind of feeds to the right anyway. So
yeah, it's sort of similar to the 13th in that if you miss it's a slightly wide. Well, it's
much wider fairway,
much wider fairway. But if you miss it, it's still one of those fairways that you're not going to get too many good positions if you miss the fairway.
Yep. So I hit my drive pretty well. I aimed on the left edge to stay away from the right side, thinking I might kind of roll back down towards the centre. I blocked it a little bit, not a huge amount. So I was in the left trees again, but when I got up there, my ball was it was under a tree, just on the left hand side of the trunk, and so therefore I'm swinging back at the trunk of the tree, right?
Yeah.
Knowing that if I put a full swing on it, I'm going to hit the trunk of the tree and cause a bit of a problem. I also then had a very small gap to punch through in front. So, it was one of those things where you kind of go, in a Stableford event, you take it on. If it was a stroke event, maybe you do, maybe you don't. So anyhow, tough shot, and I've laced a 4-iron just with a little sawn-off swing straight through the gap, haven't hit the tree, gone all the way to about 50 metres short of the green on the fairway.
Okay.
It was an incredible shot. It was one of those ones, and I said to Pete as I walked off, I said, if you gave me another 10 attempts at that, I'm not hitting it anywhere near that well. So I was pretty happy with that. So I left myself with about a 50-metre wedge into the green. Pretty simple shot, pin was on the top tier over the top of that bunker, and Eddie Walker, I just didn't hit it hard enough, and I hit it straight in the bunker at the front of the green.
Yeah. And that's a tough bunker as well.
Well, not only that,
if I remember correctly, it's got a pretty high lip.
It's very high lip.
Yeah.
It's got a very high lip, but here's something to put in your memory bank for when we play the Duntry Seniors, is that a little bit like Bathurst is a little bit like this as well, actually, where the sand in the bunkers is different in quite a lot of the bunkers. So they are transitioning from that brown river sand that Dubbo used to have into the white championship sand, but not all the bunkers have been done. And this particular one was one of the old ones, which has still got the very heavily compacted dark river sand. So I think, to be fair, I probably tried to get a bit cute and get a bit close to the ball and hit a spinner out of the bunker, and instead flushed it straight over the green and deep into the trees behind the green, and it was downhill from there and ended up with a triple. So it
wow,
was not amazing, and that was obviously a wipe.
Yep. So just walk straight to the next tee.
Go to the next tee, shake it off. It's okay. It's only golf. And, as they say, you can't hit a golf shot twice. Although, as another wise man said to me, you can if it's when you're in a bunker and then the first one stays in the bunker, then you're hitting it twice. It's not the same shot. Anyway, got to let it go.
And if you do hit it twice, it's not actually counted as 2 shots anymore.
That rule's changed.
So technically
you can hit it twice. So we moved to 16. 16's a par 5, which goes kind of, you drive, the fairway runs out a little bit, and then you go down the hill and back up the hill. I think it's an opportunity hole, to be fair. If you get a good drive away, you can really set yourself up on this hole. So I hit a pretty good drive up just short of fairway bunker on the left as the fairway runs out on the first section of fairway. Had a 4-iron then because I didn't have a great lie, so I didn't want to take fairway wood out of the rough there and have a go at the green, even though it would have been right about on the limit. So I thought I'd take the long iron, just sort of try and lay up to a sand wedge distance. Hit a bit of a toe hook into the trees, which line the back of the driving range.
Yep.
So as you're walking up there, it can be a bit tricky to find your ball in amongst all of the other balls that have been hit through that tree line from the driving range. But anyway, I found it, and in fairness, I got quite lucky. I had a beautiful gap through the trees to the green. I could see the flag, nothing in the way. So I actually hit a really nice gap wedge onto the green to probably about 15 feet from the pin. Just missed the birdie putt and tapped in for par. So that was one of those ones to kind of get things back on the rails just a little, which was good.
It was good comeback after your triple on the previous hole.
It was. So then we moved on to 17, which is par 3 across the water over that lake and slightly elevated green. And it was playing it again. It was similar to the second hole that we played. It was playing about 160 metres. So I hit 5-iron again pretty well, but just missed the green left. Found myself just sort of in some gnarly rough just next to the green, but kind of chopped it out, left myself with about a 10-footer for par, which I drained, Andy Walker.
Nice.
So it was an up and down.
2 pars in a row.
So we kind of got back on track a little bit, which takes us to the 9th hole, which is 18. And again, 18, I find it a bit of a tough hole, not necessarily to get to the green, but the green complex is a bit nasty. If you go above the hole, coming back down is just awful. So anyhow, there's also the driving range running up the right side of the fairway, so you don't want to go through the right trees. And hitting driver there is actually, you've got to take a bit of an aggressive line, which I did.
And left is no good as well.
Yeah, I took a bit of an aggressive line. Some may say too aggressive, Andy Walker, because it did finish quite left, deep into the trees.
Yeah, you get shut out there. You can't actually get a shot to the green unless you're all the way through, and then I think it opens up a little bit past the.
I wasn't all the way through, and it didn't open up. So I was so dead that it was difficult to make a decision what to do on this shot.
Yeah, right. Okay.
There was no opportunity to pitch out sideways because the trees sideways back to the fairway were just horrendous.
Did you think about just going back to the tee?
I thought about it. I thought about it. It was that ugly, and I couldn't go high because the pine trees, and I was under a tree, and at about probably 15 metres in front of me, there was another pine tree with low branches overhanging, like probably 6 feet above the ground. And then further through that, after that pine tree, there was probably about 60 metres of clear space, but then another tree, very thick tree line, but just with the gap of a cart path that went through that tree line up towards the green. So I went, okay, that's my gap.
That's your percentage play. Excellent. I love it.
Of all of the things, it was the best option. And I thought, you know what? If I can get it through, and I'm talking, this is a gap that's like 3 meters wide, and it was kind of like an archway because then the trees met above it as well. So you had about probably, 4 meters of height to get it through. Had to remember, keep the ball off the club face, no more than 6 feet in the air for about 20 meters. So 4-iron, back in the stance, hooded down club face, flushed it. It's gotten under the branch and it's going up. It's bounced on the center of the cart path, which is not concrete. It's like crushed granite stuff.
Yep.
It's bounced on the center of the cart path. It's gone through the gap, Andy Walker, and it's run up through the rough to about probably, I would say about 5 meters short of the green. There's a big mound on the left-hand side, and it was on the upslope of that mound. And I honestly tell you, as bad as that tee shot was when I laid the sod over the ball on, what was it, the third or fifth hole or something, this is one of the greatest golf shots I've ever pulled off.
Yeah, right. Okay.
It was incredible. So it gave me a chance to get up and down for par. And a similar pitch and run scenario up the green to what I'd faced earlier and left it halfway. So I'd learnt my lesson on that. And I went, no, the landing spot's much further up. So bump and run with the pitching wedge, hit it to the landing spot much further up, which is probably a little bit too far, let's be honest, because the ball then rolled out beyond the hole to the back fringe, which, as we said, don't go past the hole on this one.
No. And
I hit a putt, and honestly, it looked in for all money. Just undying speed, rolled past the left edge.
And how far past did it go?
25 feet.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're
never stopping,
you don't need to do too much once it gets past that hole for it to end up 15, 20 feet past.
Yeah, so that was disappointing. So that ended up, what did that end up? That ended up a double. For a 13-point first nine.
Yeah, wow.
So that was disappointing.
It's not ideal.
Oh, look. It's good company.
It's a good start, I guess.
It's good company. So anyway, we moved to one. Now one, again, meanders its way right to left down the fairway. Longish par four. Pretty decent par four.
Pretty strong par four, yeah.
Out of bounds down the right. Massive trees down the left. There's two or three massive big pine trees on the left-hand corner.
Yep.
They're the ones I went straight into.
Nice.
So I had a look at that, and I thought, I didn't go deep in them. I'd hit them and kind of bounce back a little bit. So I looked at this shot and I thought, I could play my 4 hybrid here, which does like to cut. And if I started out over the out of bounds and cut it back left, I could cut it back around to the green if I could cut it about 30 or 40 metres. Which I thought, after 13 points on the front 9,
may as well give it a crack.
May as well have a go, Andy Walker. So I hit it pretty well, just clipped the last branch on that last one of those pine trees and dropped down out onto the fairway just as if I'd chipped one out sensibly. So, no harm, no foul.
Got the result.
Got the result. Hit a 7-iron down towards the green just short, pitched on 2 putts for, wait for it, another double. So I'd gone double on the turn, which was disappointing.
On the double train.
So I said to Pete at this point, I said, mate, last time I played this course, and we played the front 9 second, I doubled the first and I parred in for the rest of the 9. So that's the aim. That's what we're going to
But I mean, the first 9 at Duntry I find to be easier than the second 9. So you've got an opportunity to score better on that front 9. So, it's well within range, I'd expect.
It's possible. So we moved to 2, which is par 5. Hit my best drive of the day, I reckon. Smoked one straight up the middle, and I'd been fighting the driver a little bit. And one of the things that I was really trying to do was just to stop, stop fighting it and stop steering it and try and just swing at it and hit it to a point, and wherever it ended up, but not try and be, sort of guidey on the driver when, as you can do when you lose confidence. So anyway, I hit absolutely the best drive I've hit of the day. Shot scope tells me it's 250 metres up the centre.
Nice.
Which was pretty good. Then hit a good 5-wood just short of the green, pitched on, burned the edge on the birdie putt, but tapped in for par. So that was okay.
Nice par. Good comeback.
So one down. So we move on to 3. 3's that dog leg to the right, par 4. Hit a good drive just into the left rough, 9-iron onto the centre of the green. Again, burnt the edge with the birdie putt, tap in par.
Okay, it's a promise.
We're on the par train. The 4th hole.
Next hole's tough though.
fourth hole's nasty. It's that long par 3, and it was playing. Yeah. It was flagged right at the back. The tees were a fairly long way back. It was playing pretty close to 200 metres. So I took 5 wood, and I thought I'll just try and cut it a little bit just to take 5 metres off. Unfortunately, started it a bit right, bit of a double cross, I think it's fair to say. So no cut, and it clipped. There's a tree, probably about 100 metres off the tee box. It clipped that and then dropped down into the fairway. So I'm in the rough, 100 out on a par 3. It's never a good place to be.
It's a good layup.
It's never a good place to be. But hit a pitching wedge onto the green, 2-putt bogey. So not too bad. So then we moved to 5. 5, another par 4. Probably one of the more gettable ones. Yeah. On the course, fairly short.
I find 5 and 6 are probably 2 scoring holes. When I stand on the tee on 5, I've always thought, okay, next 2 holes are a bit of an opportunity.
Yeah. 5, though, they had the tees right at the back in the, kind of tournament location. And you've got, I'll drop a photo of this on the Facebook page because you hit through the goalposts of the 2 trees that are on the end of the end of the tee box. It's a specky tee shot. Like, it's a beautiful tee shot. It's a little bit intimidating, but it's a lot of fun. So anyway, I got a pretty good drive away, gap wedge to the front edge and just kind of sucked back off the edge. But I got up and down for an easy par, Andy Walker.
Nice.
So we kept the roll going. We moved to 6. Again, dogleg par 4. Hit a pretty good drive up the left side, just into the left rough. 9-9 onto the green, 2 putts, par, Andy Walker.
Nice.
So we go to 7, par 3 down the hill. 7-9 to the centre of the green, 2 putts, par.
On a roll.
We go to 8. 8, decent par 4. Hit a good drive up the centre, pitching wedge onto the green, 2-putt par, Andy Walker.
It's pretty consistent.
The 9 was coming together nicely. And then the 9th, the last hole, hit a good drive up the right side. I was about 150 out, 6 iron in, and hit a bit of a weak fade, to be honest, and it caught the left tree and dropped down in the left rough. That's okay. Got over it with the sand wedge to pitch on and shanked it left of the green.
Wow. Wow.
That's okay. Then pitched on to... You can't do anything about it. Pitched on and ran the putt, I don't know, about 2.5 feet past the hole.
Oh, no.
Was feeling a little frustrated about life at this point. Walked around, tapped it in and smacked it 4 feet past.
Did you tap it in?
Smacked it 4 feet past.
Wow.
Which I'm happy to say I made the comeback for a 3-putt triple to finish, which was disappointing. But take that out of it, and it had been a really, really solid 9 holes after doubling the first.
Yep.
So there was a lot of positives to take out of it. Obviously disappointing way to finish. I finished on 30 points. I finished with 17 points on that 9, which should have obviously been better, but wasn't.
Oh, well, it sounds like it's got some promise in there, but it's I guess it's frustrating because I'm in a similar position in that there are signs and there's good golf there, but then there's some rubbish and some definitely throwing away of quite a few shots, and I find that to be quite frustrating when you're in that sort of phase of your game.
Yeah, it is. But it's one of those things where you go, the golf's there, like it's in there. the consistency is the issue. Now, what's causing the consistency, and this is actually the point of the story, there's a few things, like obviously not playing enough golf plays into it. There's no doubt about that. But then I got back to the high performance center a few days later, and I thought I just want to do a little bit of a swing check and just see where things are at, because you might remember when I was playing my best golf, kind of early to middle of last year, my driver was my absolute strength.
Yeah. You were striping your driver just about every hole.
Yeah. And I would go, nines without missing a fairway, and would have the confidence to step up and really have a good rip at it because I knew where it was going. Whereas in recent times, it's been a two-way miss, and some days it's always left, some days it's always right, some days it's a bit of both, and this was a bit of both. So like there's something that's going on there which is driving some inconsistency. So I did a swing checkup, and I used our favourite app, the Golf Swing Replay app, to just check my swing plane. And what I noticed is that I had become not only flat, which is always a tendency for me, but I'd actually
backswing.
Yeah.
So
yeah. But I'd also started reverting to whipping the club head on the inside on the backswing.
Okay. Yeah.
So swinging around the body instead of up on plane, swinging the club head back. So that position that you want to get to with club parallel to the ground, and you want your driver club face sort of just outside the hands at that point with, with the right face angle. That was actually about like a foot below the hands and passing through at about knee height around my body before I can say swinging around and then rising steeply and then throwing over the top in transition. And that's causing the problems. That's where it was all going horribly wrong. And I think that's been happening for a while. I think that's been probably building for a while, because what I haven't been doing is doing just the checkups with video in the high performance center. Life gets in the way and all those things.
Yeah, and whether it be, with the Golf Swing Replay app, or whether it be just normal video, it's so important to keep those checks and balances in place. And that's sort of part of, my well, I wouldn't say it's weekly, but it's regular checkup, is taking those videos. But then also, and I've been doing this a bit as well, getting on YouTube and, comparing against the positions of varying players that I like, and I'd like to emulate some of the positions they get into. And I mean, Adam Scott's an obvious one. Tiger's another one. Tommy Fleetwood I really like. Justin Rose. So those guys that I really like how they swing, I compare the same positions that I get into against what they get into. And because I've got the two screens, I can do it side by side, and it's actually a really good checkpoint. And I'd recommend that, anyone who wants to check themselves where they are, to be able to get in there and do those sorts of things, so that at least you understand where you are in your swing.
Absolutely. I also believe that the issue is not only with driver, but that is the same issue that led to me shanking that chip shot on the last hole.
So like taking it too far on the inside.
Taking it on the inside, and that's what's throwing the hosel at the ball on the way through.
Yeah. See, I find, especially around the green, I actually take the club slightly outside the line, and I make sure I open up the club face, because the last thing you want to do is to take it back inside with a closed club face. You're asking for all sorts of issues with that. So slightly outside the line, and with a slightly open club face, and that then allows you to come back through slightly across it. So as a right-handed golfer, slightly from, outside to in, from my right to my left, with a open club face, and you'll get such a better contact especially with your wedges, doing that.
Yep. So that also, I think it's the same issue that's creating those problems with both the top end and the short end of the bag. So I did a little bit of work on it, and I went out and I thought I'll play 9 holes during the week. So I caught up with friend of the show and Vietnam's only Missing Links Masters winner, friend of the show, Nee. And we played 9 holes. We rushed around a little bit to start with because we were trying to get in front of another group. So I was still sort of tinkering with swing anyway. I went bogey, bogey, double, bogey on the first 4 holes. So I was thinking, God, whatever. But I was starting to hit the ball a bit better and I was starting to find something. Yep. And we ended up playing 11 holes. Okay, so I went 5 over through the first 4. And then for the next 7 holes, I went par on the par 3, 5th, par on the par 4, 6th, lip out for birdie, so tap in par on the par 5, 7th, par on the par 3, 8th, par on the par 4, 9th, par on the par 4, 10th, and par on the par 3, 11th. So I've rattled off 7 consecutive pars at that point, and was then hitting 100% of fairways. So I feel like I'm onto something. I feel like I'm onto something. And I've sent you a couple of videos. I sent you the video that I did in the session where I did the swing check, which was horrible, and I'm happy to post them on the Facebook group as well. And then I sent you another one from a few days later, which is right back where it needs to be. And I think I think
the second one looked really
focus.
good.
Yeah, I think that needs to be my focus. I think if I can nail that, it's just all about swing playing, then we should be in good shape.
Good. Well, it'd be good to see you get your driver back on track because, that's been AWOL for a little while now. And it's such an important point. And that's sort of one of the things that I'd really like to get, sorted in my game. And it's just been so long since I've had any confidence off the tee. And it just sets up the golf course. Like, it just makes it so much easier when you're hitting fairways and you're hitting a lot of fairways. It just makes the game a lot easier.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. And it's funny, driver confidence is hard to build and really easy to destroy. Because you need multiple rounds of it going well to really build that confidence that you feel that you can rely on it and lean on it. But in 9 holes, you can just scramble your brain on what you're doing. It's really tricky. But I feel like what I'm happy about is I feel like I've noticed something in the swing that's actually been driving a few of these problems. I've been able to do something about it, and it seems to have, albeit in a very short and small sample size, have actually delivered a bit of an outcome. And I think that also just gives me something to think about as a trigger on the course if I'm having a day where things aren't going wrong. It's just getting a few of those check positions to make sure that the swing plane's right, and that I'm not falling into the bad habits, because it's my old habit. It does a number of things, right? Like, it does what we're talking about with the swing plane, but it also shortens my swing. Because when I whip it around like that, you can't rotate properly. So, and that's one thing I noticed. Like, when I got it on plane properly and I got my backswing right, my backswing was much longer than what it had been when it was getting really short and whippy. And then there's all sorts of problems there with, getting out of sequence and throwing your hands at the ball and everything that you've got to do to try and save it when the swing's out of sync like that. So, I'm hoping that might be something to focus on.
Do you feel like your swing gets so short it's shorter than Rambo?
It sometimes does, mate. I mean, remember that?
I was going to say that swing that one of the Pilgrims took.
Yeah.
Was it Pilgrim Ben that took that?
On the first tee,
on the back of the first tee. That was shorter than Rambo. That was such a short swing.
Yeah, that was very chippy.
Yeah.
So, and that's I think that's the symptom of when things are coming inside too much. That starts to happen.
I reckon there's a fair bit of flexibility.
It could be a little bit of that coming in. Do you think?
In that as well, yeah.
But the thing is, if I get it on the right plane, I'll turn. Like, I can get there.
Yep.
It's the tendencies. So it's also a little bit of that, I think, is the old opening batsman's backswing, that you only take a half backswing against the faster bowlers. So there's probably years and years of that ingrained, and particularly off the first tee, when you may be feeling a little bit tight and a little bit, not quite sure what's going to come off the club face. But it's been a really interesting process to try and work through that and try and come up with a solution. But I'm hoping that we're moving in the right direction. I'm hoping that if I can focus on getting that swing plane grooved back in before Duntry seniors, that we might have a chance of posting some decent scores.
Okay, sounds promising.
So there you go. That's the story.
So what about short game and putting? What's the plan? Because it sounds like you've now got a plan for ball striking to get back on track, which sounds positive. But I mean, I know we've talked about, especially chipping and pitching. We've talked a lot about your improvement process for your pitching and chipping. What's that currently look like?
My focus is to keep doing the what do they call it? The nearest the pin challenge with the square launch monitor in the high performance center. Obviously get out on the course when I can, but time is limited. But, when I can use the high performance center to use that. And I think that the thing with it, right, is to actually focus on the club path for exactly the same reasons we talked about before.
Yep.
To focus on that club path, to try and get that club head, like you say, kind of on the chipping and pitching, probably a little bit more outside the hands, so that you're keeping the club face open and coming through. Because again, I think my problems all stem from the takeaway, and when the takeaway, and potentially it's also when you get fatigued and a little bit lazy late in the round and you stop thinking about things as much as you should. That's when that's at risk of, whipping to the inside and creating those problems. So I think for me, that's the biggest issue, and to continue to try and work on those distances with the square launch monitor, because I really do enjoy doing that. I think it's really good practice, and it's it's not perfectly random, but it's random enough to make you think about it, and definitely good to make use of that setup in the high performance center. I think it's really valuable. So that'll be the go. Putting at the moment, putting's okay. I'm committed to left-handed putting for the time being.
I was certain you were going to go to the two-putter methodology.
I'm committed to left-handed putting. As a matter of fact, actually, just as an aside, I did edit together some of those holes from the 9-hole test that I did. I've dropped that on the YouTube channel on the stories from the High Performance Center. I thoroughly recommend.
I really like, and I've thought about this a bit. I really like the left to right putts putting left-handed, and the right to left putts
putting right-handed.
right-handed. Like that's gold. Like that is absolute gold.
There is going to be a day when I do it just for fun. That day has not yet come. So, but I think it's one of those things. Like I do want to continue to take both putters to the practice green and continue to work on it, because I think over time there's something in it. It's not there. It's not anywhere near competition ready yet. Not a chance, but it's definitely a bit of fun, and it's something to work on. We'll keep you updated, don't worry. But at the moment, putting is left-handed, and putting was pretty good actually. On except for that last stab one pass, but that was a concentration issue. That wasn't a putting issue. But my putting was actually pretty good. I made some good putts. So I'm feeling okay about that at the moment.
Oh, bring on the Duntryleague seniors.
Yeah, bring it on indeed. But there you go, Andy Walker. That's the update. That's the rounds of golf that I've been involved in. One other announcement. I've ordered a training aid.
Oh, nice. We should do a training aid episode, because I do have a couple of training aids that I find quite useful.
I have ordered the TRS slider from Robert Rock.
Ah, okay. Yes. Yep. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I do think with the issues that I've been talking about with swing plane and some of those problems, I actually think it could be really useful.
Yeah, I think well, for yourself, it's the left elbow, but for
Yeah.
myself, the right elbow. That's been a bit of an issue for me. Yeah, I've been doing a little bit of work with keeping my right elbow a little bit more tucked rather than having and again, growing up, was a massive fan of Jack Nicklaus. Jack Nicklaus had the flying right elbow, so I was just like, yeah, that's what you got to do. However, it brings in quite a few issues, and
Yes.
having the tucked right elbow, which is something that I really took note of after doing a bit of sort of looking into and reading Ben Hogan's work. It's got a lot of advantages, and yeah, I find that yeah, I'm more compact. My swing feels a bit more stable, a lot more stable, and just feels a lot more together. Especially the takeaway, my takeaway, and I've been working a lot on my takeaway. Was one of the things a couple of years ago when I did have the coaching session, that the coach said that my swing is a bit, especially my takeaway is a bit disconnected. And there's a few reasons why, and now is probably not the right time to go through that in detail, but one of the keys is just keeping that right elbow a little bit more, I wouldn't say tucked, but certainly both elbows, closer together, which is sort of the point of that, the TRS trainer and other like training aids.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to have a go at. So my intention is to film a bit of a review for the Pilgrims, drop it on the YouTube channel, and
I think you get a lot of value from it.
Hope so. It's not the cheapest training aid going around, to be fair, but its point of difference, because basically it's a like a seat belt that goes around your rib cage, and then there's a little Velcro strap that goes around your bicep of your trail arm, your back arm. So in my case, it'll be my left arm. I did check you can use it left-handed as well as right-handed, so that's good.
Yep.
Now, there's a lot of these similar training aids that are out there that just kind of pin your arm to your body.
Yes.
So according to the marketing material, what makes this one different is that, yes, it pins your arm to your body, but your arm can also slide along the belt that goes around your rib cage. So it's not locked in the one position. So that enables you to rotate and have the full range of movement just without your arm separating away from the body. Whereas some of the other ones that actually lock your bicep into the same spot against your body and doesn't enable you to rotate properly and can introduce other swing flaws. So that's the rationale that sets it apart from the others.
And there's a couple that have, a ball shape device where you keep that locked in between your forearms. I've got a similar one to that, which I've found to be fairly useful. I don't use it so much when to hit a golf ball, but certainly in between hitting golf balls, for that position to focus on the position and to get the feel of the position that I want my right arm to be in and my right elbow to be in, then I find it to be really useful.
Yes, I have one of those little balls on a chain that can go between your forearms, and for me, I really struggle with it for whatever reason. So anyway, maybe.
Yeah, I've got one from, and it's not a ball, but it's from Skills Golf.
Oh yeah,
it's sort of similar idea in that you've got a Velcro strap that you put on your lead arm, and you've the way it works is your trail arm needs to remain connected to that device. So with some of those balls, you've got a neck sort of chain that's what it is, attached
and
to it.
I don't like it. There's too much going on.
Yeah, and I can understand that, and that's why I didn't go down that line. But yeah, I find this skill swing trainer to be quite good, because it just stays on your lead arm. It doesn't fall off in the way that some of those ball type devices do.
Hate it when your ball falls off. Anyway, on that note, we will do a training aid episode soon. Once we've had a chance to review them, I think that'd be a good one. We can rate a few various things. I do have another random putting one that I'll show you at some point that is so bad it's not funny.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Nothing like a bad putting training aid.
Oh, it's really bad. It was like retailing for about $250 and was reduced down to about $15 or something like that. And I know why, because it's terrible.
Yep. Because $15 was still too much.
Yeah, it was. I'll name and shame in that episode. But anyway, Andy Walker, that's about it. Fair bit of golf that we've talked about in the last couple of weeks, which is good, given that it is a golf podcast. So hopefully we'll keep that coming. I won't be playing this weekend because I've got a bit of interstate travel coming up again, but that's okay. Hopefully you get out and hit some balls.
Yeah, I'm still keen to. So I won't play in the comp this week, but I'm still looking at playing the comp at my local club next week. So I'd like to, so probably next Tuesday. So maybe next Tuesday, if we record after my comp round, we might have a bit more golf to talk about.
Sounds like a plan. I like it. All right, Pilgrims, I think that's us for this episode. Andy Walker, do you, by chance, have any advice for the Pilgrims as we wrap this one up?
There's just really one piece of advice that, rules above them all.
And it's amazing. I, for the life of me, could not even possibly guess what that piece of advice could be.
Rock out, Pilgrims.
Nice. Thanks for listening to us today. We love hearing from our Pilgrims, so please reach out to us through any of the links in the show notes. We know golf is hard, so we hope we can help you shoot better scores and inspire you to keep trying. Rock on, Pilgrims.